Tonight on BBC London News, travel disruption for thousands of commuters as bus routes are hit by a driver's strike over pay.
Yeah, they're right to strike. They are right to strike.
It's very, very bad. People have to go to hospital, have to go to, no good.
We'll hear from Mayor Boris Johnson on why he thinks the strike shouldn't have been allowed. Also tonight. High levels of violence at the capital's largest youth prison. Inspectors say new inmates are forced to join gangs. Why developers of our newest public space, the Sky Garden, are accused of limiting public access. Plus,
a good-looking guy like you, it's exactly what they want. Do you want to try it out?
Hugh Grant on how he came to share the London stage with an unknown actor with disabilities.
I regard him as a good friend, and he actually came out to America when I was filming out there last year, and we managed to get him in a scene.
Hello and welcome to BBC London News with me, Riz Latif. First tonight, 2/3 of London buses are off the road today. Coming up later in the programme, a mini tornado damages a West London garage. We'll have a full weather forecast on more disruptive weather ahead. Plus,
excuse me, can we get the platform clear as soon as we can?
Yeah, right away.
the star of Silent Witness, Emilia Fox, on the highlights of filming in London. She'll be here in the studio. It's time for a quick recap on the day's headlines. The funerals have taken place in Paris and Jerusalem of 7 of the people killed in last week's attacks in the French capital. The 3 police officers who lost their lives were given the country's highest honour. Tony Blair has told MPs the peace process in Northern Ireland would probably have collapsed without the on-the-run scheme for IRA fugitives. Mr Blair's government wrote to around 200 Republicans assuring them they wouldn't be prosecuted. And thousands of commuters have had their journeys disrupted by a London bus strike over a pay dispute. But the Mayor's condemned the walkout and has called for curbs on future strikes by transport workers. That's it for now. Plenty more, though, of course, on our website, and I'll be back with the latest for you during the 10 o'clock news on BBC One. From all of us here, though, thanks very much for watching and have a lovely evening. Bye for now. Hello and welcome to Look East.
In the programme tonight, could plans to close level crossings split communities across the east? Campaign groups argue homes and businesses could be cut off, but Network Rail says it's needed to speed up trains.
Also tonight, Labour calls for an independent inquiry into the East of England ambulance service after it lowered the priority of thousands of 999 calls.
Withholding ambulances from terminally ill people is the most cruel form of rationing imaginable.
He should be getting behind the paramedics and the ambulance services and not trying to politicise the issue.
The chalk reef off the coast of Norfolk that could become a marine conservation zone.
And is the 6-foot bird spotted in Hertfordshire the same one that's evaded capture for more than a year?
Hello, first tonight, concerns that level crossings across the east
To try to cover the crime up. Still to come tonight, the recruitment drive for more lock keepers to man our canals.
And the giant bird roaming Hertfordshire has given the police the slip again after almost a year on the run. Last year, hospitals were given extra cash from the government to help them deal.
Hello and welcome to Tuesday's Look East. Coming up in the next 30 minutes, the squeeze on our classroom places. An investigation has revealed that many of the region's schools are simply too full, and it's set to get worse. Also tonight, 2 years after the brutal murder of a pensioner in Wisbech, her brother tells of the family's frustration at the lack of answers.
It just seems to drag on and on. You know, you have ideas and you formulate different things, but it seems a shame that they haven't got anybody by this time.
We'll be here later in the programme with a recruitment drive for lock keepers
As our waterways get busier, the search is on for volunteers to keep the age-old tradition alive.
And 1 year on, it's dangerous and still on the run. Britain's most wanted bird.
Good evening. First tonight, the revelation that our schools are facing a desperate shortage of places. First, it's back to Stuart and Susie.
Still to come tonight, the recruitment drive for more lock keepers to man our canals.
And the giant bird roaming Hertfordshire has given the police the slip again, after almost a year on the run. Last year, hospitals were given extra cash from the government to help. Thank you very much. A rear with a 60-mile-an-hour wind behind it. Be a sight, wouldn't it?
That's all from us. Goodbye.
Good night.
Welcome to South East Today. I'm Polly Evans.
I'm Rob Smith. Tonight's top stories. The Prime Minister condemns one of the worst train services in Britain, Southern's 729 to London. It was late every single day it ran last year. We'll have the details live from Brighton. The danger of exploding e-cigarettes. Kent Fire Service warns how using the wrong charger can have devastating consequences.
And about 10-15 minutes later, I heard like a swooshing noise. And looked round, the bedroom was all on fire.
Also in tonight's programme, Kent grammar schools are set to be thrown into financial crisis, claim 2 MPs, after changes to the way that they're funded. The vast seascapes by artist John Virtue proving a logistical challenge even for the South East's biggest gallery.
Right, Miss Warburton, this is as far as I go. Good luck.
And she's used to a bit of drama. Holby City's Tina Hobley stars in the stage play of the novel Dead Simple, set in Brighton.
Good evening. The Prime Minister has told BBC South East that train companies risk losing their franchises.
In a moment, just what is the long-term impact of flooding? The first ever survey looking into the effects on people's health.
Kent's grammar schools are on the verge. Well, it's very nearly 7:15. This is our top story tonight. The Prime Minister has condemned Southern's train services as not good enough and warned they could be at risk of losing their franchise. His comments came as it was revealed that the 729 Brighton to London train was late every day that it ran last year.
Also in tonight's programme
She's not getting rid of her most experienced nurse.
Most experienced also means most expensive.
From Holby City to a stage thriller, Tina Hobley stars in the play of the book Dead Simple, which is set in Brighton.
And we've got a cold night tonight with some wintry showers around, and I'll have the details for you a little later in the programme.
Alcohol-related health problems are costing the NHS in the South East almost £200 million a year. So you can visit the BBC's website's health page for features, video and analysis.
Now, it may be the biggest art gallery in the South East.
That's it from us.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hello, welcome to South Today. I'm Sally Taylor. In tonight's programme, hitting the streets to get the message across, telling 10,000 people why they shouldn't go to A&E.
So where do you go if there's no doctors open and no surgeries open?
Raising awareness, the flickering shop lights that brought on a woman's epilepsy. From Jam and Jerusalem to tea and Trafalgar, the epic baton relay celebrating 100 years of the WI.
Really had a good day. WI's been going 100 years and this is our way of celebrating it. Yeah, excellent day we've had.
And the eyes have it, but is Molly's quirky appearance preventing her from finding a perfect home? Are you part of the A&E problem, with accident and emergency units facing unprecedented numbers over the winter period? Fuel diesel. Now, it didn't hold back David Bowie, but Molly the collie's odd-coloured eyes have been putting off would-be adopters. We'll meet her later in the programme and find out how you could give her a home. And on our Facebook page, Alice Oliver says, "I'd have her if I could. How could anyone not love her?" A 29-acre solar farm at...
Hello and welcome to South Today. In tonight's programme, plied with alcohol and then raped in a park. A teenage girl tells a court she was sexually exploited and abused in Banbury. Also tonight, 3,000 staff and students on the move. The university campus that's going to close and the nearby residents with fears about what might replace it. Why the cost of going to the Grand Prix at Silverstone could be coming down.
And later on, the eyes have it. But is Molly's quirky appearance preventing her from finding her perfect home?
Good evening. A jury's been hearing how a 14-year-old girl from Banbury was passed around a group of men for sex. For now, though, there are more stories coming up with Sally Taylor.
Now, it didn't hold back David Bowie, but Molly the collie's odd-coloured eyes have been putting off would-be adopters. We'll meet her later in the programme and find out how you could give her a home. And on our Facebook page, Alice Oliver says, "I'd have her if I could. How could anyone not love her?" A 29-acre solar farm. Be with us tomorrow night if you can, 6:30. Thanks for watching tonight. We've got more at 8, of course, and at 10:25. And back tomorrow, as I said. Good night. Thanks for watching.
Good night.
Good night.
Welcome to BBC Points West with Alex Lovell and Sabet Chowdhury.
Our main story tonight, still on the critical list. Gloucestershire's health bosses say they hope the crisis in the county's A&E departments will soon be over, but the cause may last a lot longer.
There was hope that after 10 days, the major internal critical incident at Gloucestershire's hospitals would be over. But tonight, nothing has changed.
We'll assess the impact the problems will have in the run-up to the general election.
Also in the programme, the unseen threat. The victim of a cyber predator speaks out, warning parents about online dangers.
Sold for £1, plans to turn the Winter Gardens into a law school could be approved tonight, but not everyone's happy.
And we've not seen any for a while, but be prepared, the first snow of winter is on its way.
Good evening.
Still lots to come on the programme. Honoured by the Queen, we meet a young man from Cirencester who's one of the first recipients of a new Royal Award for his work with refugees in Africa. Now, there's no doubt.
This is where we part company for now. We'll be back in the 10 o'clock news. But for now, from all of us here, goodbye.
Bye.
Tourism in trouble, a warning that one of the region's most important industries could struggle to attract visitors. Good evening. Tourism chiefs have told MPs that cuts in marketing budgets are having a severe impact on businesses.
We are one of the engines that drives the economy within Devon and Cornwall as well. And listen to our plight, listen to the fact that we're on a tipping point. It's a crucial and critical time for tourism in the southwest.
Hello, also tonight, a winter warning to be on alert with widespread snow and gale force winds on the way. The gritters have already been out in force as the southwest prepares for the worst.
And I'm live in the Devon Highways control room for the very latest on the roads. Already reports of blizzards across Devon and Cornwall and difficult driving conditions so far.
And for the first time this winter, we have a warning of snow and ice for tonight.
Not just that, but also warnings for severe gales and heavy rain this time tomorrow. I'll have all the details later in the programme.
And the latest weapon in the fight against litter. Why rewards may be the solution.
First tonight, tourism chiefs say the industry in the southwest is in serious trouble, and we will be back with Andrea for an update later in the programme. And of course, David will be here with details of where the worst of the weather is expected.
Also, still to come on Spotlight, find out how volunteers are helping to relieve pressure on the region's hospitals.
Police in Somerset have warned parents.
Good evening, the headlines from BBC Channel Islands News this Tuesday night. Cashing in on e-gaming. Jersey finally follows Alderney and Guernsey in a bid to make millions of pounds, but why has it taken them so long? Building blueprint construction for a major finance centre begins to take shape.
And tonight, the strong winds continue. Gale force winds again overnight tonight, but possibly severe gale force winds by this time tomorrow, with gusts of wind between 60 and 70 miles an hour. I'll have all the details later in the programme.
It's hoped Jersey will become a leading location in the e-gaming world. For now, though, you are watching the BBC here in the Channel Islands. Thanks for being with us tonight. Still ahead in Spotlight with Justin and Claire. Obliterate litter, the city at the forefront of a new campaign to clean up the streets. And David's got that all in the forecast as well for us in the next few moments. But for now, though, I'll hand you over to Justin and Claire. See you a bit later on. Bye for now.
A man has been charged in connection with a serious collision at a car cruise. Thank you, David. We have been warned. Your BBC local radio station will have a comprehensive roundup of travel and weather conditions from first thing tomorrow morning. We'll be back with the latest at 10:25. Have a good evening. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Hello, welcome to Midlands Today. The headlines tonight. The man who saved wolves from extinction nearly 20 years ago, Sir Jack Hayward, has died at the age of 91. We'll be hearing tributes to Sir Jack live from Molineux ahead of this evening's FA Cup replay. Also tonight, with inflation falling to a 15-year low, families and businesses welcome a significant drop in the price of oil.
Dropping the price of oil will make a tremendous difference to how much money we spend on heating and hot water.
As 6-year-old George recovers from the plane crash that killed his parents, heartwarming get-well messages from his friends at school.
I really want you to come back to play Tickle Monster with me, and I hope your arms are better. Love, Bertie.
With more boats on our waterways than at the height of the Industrial Revolution, the cry goes out for hundreds of lock keepers.
And from dark and dreary to possibly white and wintry for parts of the region by the end of tonight. There are warnings already enforced for snow and ice. Details on how much coming up later.
Good evening. The man who saved Wolverhampton Wanderers Football Club from extinction. It's 16 minutes to 7. This is our top story tonight. The man who saved wolves from extinction nearly 20 years ago, Sir Jack Hayward, has died at the age of 91. Your detailed weather forecast to come shortly from Shafali. We've an inkling, haven't we? Also in tonight's programme, FA Chairman Greg Dyke promises more cash for grassroots football in Birmingham. And on the lookout for hundreds of lock keepers as more boats take to the waterways than at the height of the Industrial Revolution. More than 10,000 knives have been given to a company in Shropshire. Thank you, Shirley. Tonight's headlines from the BBC. David Cameron and Ed Miliband accuse each other of being chicken at a stormy Prime Minister's questions. The growing pressures on A&E start to tell as ambulances are sent away and operations delayed. And police are investigating after 8 Muslim-owned shops are attacked. Witnesses say men were armed with guns and hammers. And that was the Midlands Today. I'll be back at 10 with the latest on those pressures on hospitals. Have a good evening. Bye-bye for now.
This is East Midlands Today with Gita Pense and me, Maurice Flynn.
First tonight, the men claiming they were physically and sexually abused at a former youth detention centre.
One has spoken to detectives 40 years after he says he was abused by a senior prison officer.
He was sadistic. He tortured me. I was terrified of him.
Also tonight, new routes and cutbacks to existing flights from the East Midlands are announced.
Customers here basically want more choice of times of day and more frequency in the week, so we're moving a lot of the flights from 3 and 4 times a week to daily flights.
Plus, how the new Cold War is being fought on trade lines, hitting one of our manufacturers by a fifth.
The Russian economy is being squeezed. The people in Russia are struggling to get goods from outside because Putin wants people to buy Russian.
And later on, after that bell's finished, you'll find out why I'm here in Nottinghamshire.
Good evening and welcome to tonight's programme. East Midlands Today can reveal that a senior prison officer has been accused of historical sex attacks.
You're watching East Midlands Today and there's still lots more to come tonight.
Including the city streets here that could pave the way for a national ban on pavement parking.
We meet those running the daily gauntlet of careless parking.
For all that, though, police are investigating after several badgers were found trapped in snares. I know who he is. In fact, knowing me, knowing you, there's still more ahead tonight.
I couldn't resist. We've got Colin, who's live talking women's football.
And Kay, who's across this properly wintry weather we're in for.
Yes, winter today and autumn tomorrow. We've got another battery of wet and windy weather on the way, and I've got more warnings to dish out for you later on in the programme.
Before that forecast, though, time now for sport. God. Thanks very much, Kay. You were quite audibly shocked by that weather.
I was a bit, actually.
That's it from us for now. You two, though, are back at 10:25.
We are indeed. See you later.
Good night.
Bye.
Thank you. Welcome to Look North.
On the programme tonight, the fall guy for failing sales. Bradford-based Morrisons forces out its chief executive and cuts 400 jobs. We'll ask where the supermarket has gone wrong.
Also tonight, a warning that the demand for extra places is pushing Yorkshire's schools to breaking point. Richard of York's new grave is dug 600 years after his death, but campaigners say the reburial plans ignore his Catholic beliefs.
Joining us from Salter Hebble Locks near Halifax as the Canal and River Trust looks for more people to maintain and operate Britain's 200-year-old waterways.
Well, there's been 1 or 2 wintry showers around today, and for some a wintry night there'll be ice and a risk of snow showers. The very latest coming up shortly.
Our top story, it's all change at Bradford-based supermarket chain Morrisons after the company announced disappointing Christmas sales figures.
Later on Look North, what computer games means for Sheffield's economy.
If all the world used to eat with Sheffield cutlery, right now they probably play a Sheffield computer game. We're here at Sheffield Hallam University, home to the world's largest lab for developing games on this particular games console, and it's here where the next generation learn to do their stuff. If you fancy a quick spin on Space Invaders, I'm your man. See you in 5 minutes.
An offer we can't refuse. Tom, thank you. Before 7 o'clock.
Will it be a burial fit for a Catholic king? The row about Richard of York goes on. Now campaigners say the reburial plans ignore his Catholic beliefs.
And wanted volunteer lock keepers to help keep Yorkshire's waterways shipshape.
Now, good luck to 2 of our teams who are hoping to make it through to round 4 of the FA Cup this evening. That's it, so we'll bring you up to date with any weather changes, of course, at 8 o'clock and at 10:25. Enjoy your evening, bye-bye.
Good night.
Yes, hello, good evening. Thank you for joining us. Welcome to Look North. The headlines from us this Tuesday night.
The Health Secretary agrees to more investigations into how a health boss ran a local NHS trust.
It's taxpayers' money that's being paid out in huge salaries to these people to run our hospitals, and I do think that these chief executives need to be accountable.
An advert for a top job with Humberside Police asks for a selfie in order to get an application form.
We're looking for somebody in our top team who already understands that we are modern, we are moving forward, and we want them to be able to use all modern technology.
Also tonight, Scunthorpe United hope their good form takes them through to round 4 of the FA Cup.
It's 11 matches unbeaten for Scunthorpe United, but they have to win here at Chesterfield to progress in the FA Cup.
I like maths, and I also like outer space, and I like being on my own.
And there are plans for a partnership between Hull and the National Theatre in time for the City of Culture.
A cold night to come, there'll be ice on untreated surfaces, a risk of a few wintry showers and gales and heavy rain Wednesday night. It's all happening. The very latest comes up shortly.
Good evening. The Health Secretary, Jeremy Hunt, has agreed to more investigations into the conduct of Phil Morley. Now, in a moment on tonight's programme, packing for another visit, the mum who has to make a 120-mile round trip to see her autistic daughter. Now, part of our Humberside Police advert is asking for applications for the post of Deputy Chief Constable. Sir Edward Lee talking earlier on. Thank you for your company. Thank you for watching this Tuesday night here on BBC One. Still ahead on the programme. Talks are being held which could see more West End shows come to Hull.
And here at Chesterfield, we await the outcome of the replay, which will take the winners, which hopefully Scunthorpe United, through to a game at Derby County.
Now, tonight's photograph is taken by Henry Salmon. Now, the time is 5 minutes to 7 here on BBC One. Let's have a recap of the main national and regional headlines from the BBC. Paris pays tribute to the police officers who were killed in terrorist attacks in the city last week. The Health Secretary agrees to more investigations into how the health boss Phil Morley ran the Hull and East Yorkshire NHS Trust. The outlook for tomorrow, sunny spells and scattered wintry showers at first, then becoming dry as cloud increases from the southwest later on. Top temperatures tomorrow getting up in the afternoon to around 5 Celsius. 5 is 41 Fahrenheit. We're talking there about the culture in the NHS in Hull. Senior management has vested interests and will deny any wrongdoing. Otherwise, it will never change. Thank you for those. Join me for the Late Look North at 10:25 here on BBC One as usual. Have a nice evening. Take care. Bye for now.
Welcome to Look North. In the programme tonight, abused, degraded, paraded on the internet. The horrifying ordeal suffered by this woman at the hands of her former partner. A new broom for the Sellafield clean-up after massive overspending and delays. The road that's going nowhere now that Tesco has pulled out of plans to build a new store on the site. Saving lives, more help for roadside trauma patients as battlefield lessons are transferred to air ambulance teams. And a home at last. A happy ending for Jed the Lurcher, once dubbed the loneliest dog in the country.
In sport, the organisers of a major car rally are moving it off-road after 3 spectators were killed during last year's event. And nearly 15 years after the fight, which almost cost him his life, we catch up with the ex-world champion, now inspiring the next generation.
This is a story of violence and degradation inflicted on one woman in her own home. Thank you, Alison. A court's heard. OK, coming up later, the unwanted dog who's found a home after a 7-year wait. And the potash plan that's dividing opinion in North Yorkshire and has already cost £1 million.
Well, the wintry showers affected some places today, including the BBC car park. Keep your ice scraper handy and I'll have all the details shortly.
This winter's gone all wintry, hasn't it, Paul?
It's all over the place.
We're all shocked. That's it from us tonight. Paul and I be back. It is you, Paul, isn't it?
It is.
10:25. See you then. Good night.
Bye-bye.
Good evening, welcome to North West Tonight with Roger Johnson
and Annabelle Tiffin. Our top story. Ice and snow bring chaos for cars on Lancashire's roads as the wrong kind of hail foils the gritters.
We'll be live from a gritting station as more icy weather is forecast. Also tonight, an organisation linked to the convoy which took Alan Henning to Syria prompts concerns from the Charity Commission.
High-rise, high rollers, why Manchester United and its owners are making big money in the Big Apple.
And bear baiting, murder and arson, how the secrets of an historic hotel brought this man from the United States all the way to Cheshire. The Charity Commissioners have intervened. Right, still to come on this evening's North West Tonight. FA Cup drama, the nail-biting penalty shootout in which Everton sadly just missed the target.
And meet the man who flew thousands of miles to research his ancestors and found a tale of murder and mayhem in Nantwich.
Before that, an off-duty ambulance man.
And again, not even feeling as good as that.
But interestingly, not freezing overnight, so hopefully we're not going to see a repeat of the icy conditions for people in the morning.
It shouldn't be, no.
We'll be back at 10:30.
We
You
will.
can give everyone an
Do
update,
it all
can't
again.
you?
Yes. Thank you for that.
Have a nice evening.
Yes, thank you very much for
See you,
watching.
bye.
Bye-bye.
See you, bye-bye.
Bye.